Hello and welcome to the Marketing Times Analytics podcast. I'm your host, Alex Sofronas, and today we have two guests, Barbara Wardell and Ernesto Cullari. Thank you for joining the podcast. I'd love for you both to introduce yourselves.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having us on. I'm Ernesto, and this is Barbara.
I'm Barbara Wardell.
And we are co-founders of Cullari and Wardell. We're a geofencing ad agency. So specifically, we focus on using GPS-based satellites to draw virtual fences around targets. And then we capture smartphone devices and send ads to those devices. But it also allows us to track visits into stores. So we're in the US, Canada, and Australia. And each month we send thousands of retail visits to our clients.
And we slay your competition.
That's interesting. Can you tell us a little history about geofencing and advertising? When did this start to become a thing, and how have you seen it change over time?
I would say it became a thing a long time ago, but really it never gained wide usage. I think the reason is because it's a more complex, more data analytic driven technology. For example, our technology enables us to measure a new visit, a repeat visit, and a natural visit, meaning someone who never saw your ad but came in anyway. And the impetus of the technology goes back to beacons, where people would set up, or businesses would have set up a beacon in their store. And then if you had their app, they were able to send you a push notification. That's a form of geofencing or geo-targeting. And it really gained more popularity during COVID. And that's actually how Barbara and I became partners. We saw a third of small businesses close, and we were quite upset by that. So we wanted to give small business owners a tool that they could use to get foot traffic back. But during COVID, Chipotle used it to drive their curbside pickup. And also
Australia used it to keep you off the beaches and stay in your house.
They used to spy on their citizens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we use it benevolently. We capture your device, but we anonymize it, so we're not spying on you. If you think about it, we all want to. Most people hate to be advertised to, except when you get an advertisement for something you're really interested in,
that you really want.
So,
your actual behaviors, not your online behaviors.
Right. So, for example, if you're in a Mercedes dealership and you're getting your car serviced,
You're definitely kicking the tires to buy a new one.
right? Yeah, you're probably in the market, or in the very least, you're in the market for better service. You would be interested in receiving an ad that gave you, especially on Mercedes, right, Barbara?
Yeah,
she likes to pay those hefty bills. I have Honda bills. She has Mercedes bills. Yeah, so if you're in a Mercedes dealership, you certainly would want to save on your service bill, and you would welcome an ad that told you would save on your services.
Yeah, and then your online behavior, if you're searching for a Mercedes or a Lamborghini, that doesn't mean you're going to buy one. So your everyday behaviors are indicative of what you would naturally do.
Yeah, so you're talking about increasing the relevance of the advertising placement by understanding the context, the physical context, that the prospect is near the store and can convert. And so this is a lower funnel, typically, probably, way to advertise. And it probably is, like you were mentioning, probably really effective with offers. So that makes a lot of sense. And how have you seen success with this? What would you say do you have any numbers that you can share around how well this works?
We have some great case studies where we do nearly 5,000 satellite verified visits a month. And we're working with small businesses. So you can imagine if you're getting 50 new GPS verified visits a month for your boutique or your restaurant, while the economy is squeezing everyone, we're sending you new business. But we've had case studies where, do you want to talk about Mike in Florida?
Sure, I could do that. We had one client who actually called us a year ago, and we did not know his situation until he ended up on a podcast. But his situation was he bought a laundromat, there was a storm, wiped out a whole area in Daytona, and he was trying to get back his business. He went in full steam on this laundromat, and he actually was sleeping in his laundromat. He never told us. He called us up. He asked us what we did, and he turned around and said, listen, I'm going to do it. Let's do it for the 6 months and let's put this down and let's get this going. And we drove so much traffic. The whole strip mall was like, where is this traffic coming from? This is amazing. And we got so many more inquiries on what we were doing. And it was all word of mouth until he went on to a podcast and he was talking about how he was making $40,000 a month and in his laundromat and how successful he was. And he credited us to some of his big incoming customers. And he mentioned us. And then, gosh, from word of mouth, we went on a podcast and we just blew up. And our whole passion is growing small businesses. And this was one of the things that we wanted to do from the moment COVID happened, and seeing that we're on the Jersey Shore. So our favorite little places that we go that are amazing started closing. And that is sad. We want those little places. We always support local industries. So this was something that Ernesto and I decided that we were going to go into this full time and start making a difference in our community as well as around the country with the small businesses. And now we're in 3 countries.
So Mike ended up selling his laundromat. So he went from living in it to not only driving through geofencing. We would send 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 120 new visits every month. So he went from living in his laundromat to get an apartment and then selling his laundromat. And he made a very good profit. He sold it to 2 investors who now operate it. But that's pretty typical of when we start working with a small business. We cut our teeth and learned to master our technology and techniques dealing with laundromats, but we've since branched on. You mentioned that how geofencing would work. Sounds like it works really well towards the bottom of the funnel, but now we're able to send TV ads at the top of the funnel to educate and
brand
more,
acquisition,
brand awareness and brand equity closer towards the top of the funnel. But we're able to use the same technology. We're able to carve out buildings, neighborhoods, and still send TV ads to those smart TVs.
That's interesting. And how does that process work? How do you link a device? Is it purchased data that links the device ID to another ID that you can target on with different tactics like TV?
So how it would work is there's a couple ways we do it. One is we're basically media buying. You can media buy by zip code. But then if we want to do strictly, that would be geo-targeting. If we want to do strictly geofencing, then we can draw a virtual radius around a building, capture every smart device in that building, anonymize that device to protect their privacy, and then when they go home, and we can cross-match those devices. Therefore, as soon as a consumer logs onto their home Wi-Fi or work Wi-Fi, we're able to identify the IP and then start sending ads to other devices in that place. And then we're able to also cross-match it to their smart TV.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So how would you say that process will evolve in the future? Will it be more automated? Will it be maybe more intelligent in which tactics are chosen out of all the devices in the home? How do you see that progressing in the future?
What are your thoughts, Barbara?
I think that there will be some AI in this, and also the progression will be technology. There's still that human element to it that I think it will have to balance in that area, because even though you can put all the information in an AI system or some of the technologies they have now, you can't always read the human behavior, that 10-15% that's going to do outside. And I think having the human element to this is always going to be there. Even if you can draw the polygons, even if you do that, I think that human element is very important. But also technology is, because we have a lot of technology in our toolbox now. Foot traffic studies, we already know that we can look at a business and say, this is your business. A half hour before the customer came and a half hour after, we know how their behaviors are, where they go afterwards once coming to your store. And I think that is really important when you're looking at the whole picture, because you really have to look at a whole picture. You can teach AI and these different technologies to predict but there is that 10-15% that you need that human. So I think a combination of both. We use that now, different technologies to help us. But I think overall, I think we're still going to have that human element to what we do.
Barbara's son, Noah, is actually he did our proprietary targeting and reporting system, but he is now working on a system where it's a do-it-yourself or done with you or done for you process where a client can go into our system and the guardrails are already there. So I think the future is, because geofencing is more difficult for most agencies or people to pull off on their own, I think we're leading the way in our own little way by providing some of the guardrails into the system. So therefore, if a client comes to us and they have their own marketing ad creative team and maybe even their own targeting team, but they want to use geofencing, we're going to have a system with the guardrails in place so that a lot of the mistakes and a lot of the pitfalls and a lot of the ways that ad buying could go wrong in geofencing, it's going to be removed. And then that's more like a managed or done with you service. But with the do-it-yourself, all the guardrails will be put in so that you can't make a mistake. And as Barbara was saying, the human element is really when we're dealing one-on-one with a client and really putting a bespoke campaign together for them. And that's why we like geofencing, because you're able really to sit with a business owner, and really carve out what niche. You're able to carve out a nice niche for them.
Tomatoes, what are you going to do?
We're going to call the whole thing off. So yeah, the human element, I think, must remain, because people want that bespoke communication all the way down from customer service with a client and all the way down to one of our clients trying to reach their own customers. And I think while AI and other things might help with the process, I do still think that keeping people in the loop makes the end result better.
Yeah, I love that. And I think especially right now, for where marketing is, there needs to be that feedback loop, because there are so many different avenues you can take with marketing. There is not that much standardization in how marketing operates from a strategic perspective, from an operational perspective. It depends on the type of business, the industry, the type of consumer. Marketing has tremendous differences between the ways it's optimized between businesses. And I'm hoping that improves over time. I'm hoping that all of this innovation and thinking leads us to a place where we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. But let me digress, and I want to ask you about a question specifically for geofencing. Where does this fit into a small business's marketing stack? Is it the center where they're using the geofence location to then buy all the other media? So it's demand-based? Is it an add-on to upper funnel brand campaigns that drive awareness? What other components are needed to make a full marketing engine in addition to geofencing? How does it play a part in that?
If you have your branding down, if you have your brand guidelines down, which many businesses don't, and believe it or not, many larger businesses don't. I worked with an agency that would help companies uplist to the NASDAQ. And you would be amazed. You're talking about a couple $100 million here and there. And these companies are, one of the things they leave last is branding, which is pretty amazing. But so if you have your brand book and your brand guidelines together, geofencing can be used at all aspects of the funnel, the marketing communications funnel, because it's very flexible. And it's also, you're able to use it to pinpoint people. So for example, at the top of the funnel, you could be running location-based Spotify ads. You could be taking your social media that you're producing in-house or that an agency provides for you. You can jailbreak it out of Facebook. You can jailbreak it out of TikTok. And you can place that organic post with the engagement visible. You can place on a connected TV ad locally. You're also able to send TV ads, again, top of funnel, very locally, targeting in particular buildings, or maybe you want to go a little broader for zip codes. It could be used for retargeting, and then it could be used for smartphone advertising. So there's really a lot of different things you can do. I would say maybe the only thing it's not compatible with is the Google universe, but you can certainly jailbreak all your social media. So if you have good content creation developed, you can take advantage of geofencing or not. You can also use things like Creatopia. Again, if you have your brand guidelines down, Creatopia is a very great, flexible content ad creation platform, just like Canva. And you can download your ads after you create them, and it takes maybe an hour or two in Creatopia, and then upload them, and then away you go with communicating locally to people. And that's really what geofencing is about. It's about developing local communication with your local community and developing your business in pinpointed places locally.
What do you mean by jailbreaking?
So your Facebook and your Instagram and your LinkedIn posts live on those host platforms. And it's frustrating because you never really own that relationship with your Facebook does. However, you're able to jailbreak a post, meaning we're able to put it as a native ad as someone's reading the news, or we can create a smart TV ad. So as someone's streaming Game of Thrones on Max, we can send them your ad, which will appear as an unskippable 30-second ad pre-roll before Game of Thrones comes on. But it's your post. It's your post on the open web in an ad. We use it online, it's a clickable ad. And if we put it on connected TV, then it's a QR scan ad. Many people don't realize that you can actually jailbreak your social media posts and use it as a geofencing ad. I would caution people who look up using social media for geofencing if they find it online. We have interviewed agents, it's actually one of our clients interviewed for us, other agencies to find out if they legit could jailbreak a social media post, and the companies advertising that they do actually don't do that. They cross-match audiences. That's completely different than jailbreaking a post, putting it online in a native ad, and also jailbreaking it and putting it in a connected TV ad. So these are completely different things. And we do jailbreak. We legit jailbreak a social media post.
Jailbreak.
So
Just jailbreak sounds so much fun.
yeah, how does it actually work? Do you take the post and walk me through the process? Like the
Sure.
prospect
So
sees the ad on Facebook.
So let's say we did a Facebook post and it got 10 comments, 300 likes. It's got pretty decent engagement. We want to grow our social media for our business, right? And we want that validation, like, hey, these guys, we can check out their Facebook page, we could see their involvement in the community, or we could see, the relevance of their business to what I do. But then when we post it on the web and you actually click on that Facebook video or that Facebook post, it brings you to their Facebook page. So then they can organically develop more of their audience. That's how it works on the open web. But when it comes to connected TV, we do something very similar. We're placing it in an ad that you can't click, however. It's an ad that you can interact with a QR code with your device.
And for the same person that saw the ad previously.
Yeah, it is possible to remarket those people, but we're actually not remarketing them by name. For example, we are jailbreaking your social media posts, but we actually don't know that. So Barbara likes my post, and then I put my post online as a clickable, jailbroken social media ad natively in someone's scroll as they're scrolling the internet or on TV. We don't know that Barbara saw it before, but we can and even if she did see it before, we can't actually directly remarket her. We are remarketing locally based on certain criteria. So if Barbara liked a post on Facebook, if we were successful in retargeting her online, it is possible she would see it, but it's not a guarantee. That's just like saying if someone walked into our geofence and we captured their device, it's not 100% guarantee that they'll see an ad when we serve it to them. They may not see an impression. That's just digital advertising in general. We're not, unless it's a push notification, if you have one of our apps that we developed for you and you happen to be by one of our stores and you get a push notification, that's a guarantee. But bidding for placement on your device or your TV, it's not a guarantee that just because you saw our social media post that you'll actually see our TV ad or display ad on your phone.
So what then is the actual jailbreaking process?
From a programming standpoint, I don't do the programming, but the process is where we take your link and then we make it into a display ad, or we'll take a post that you did organically, and then we're able to reposition that on the open web as an ad, or we're able to place it as a TV ad.
Got it.
But
Okay.
the actual programming technical aspect, I'm a technologist, but not a programmer. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted to clarify for the audience. This is a new term in marketing, so it's good to have clarity
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm getting, the sense that for small businesses that particularly run on in-person foot traffic, this is really at the center of their marketing ecosystem. They're targeting people and possibly retargeting those people that are nearby the business. Is that right?
It should
Yes.
be. How many businesses do we know? All of us, each of us. We walk it. We're going to conclude this podcast. We're going to get in our car. We're going to go get lunch, and we're going to look around us, and we're going to look at all these businesses that are really underutilized. Local businesses, a lot of small businesses closed down, even big box stores. It's a mistake to neglect geofencing. In our area, Stop and Shop, which is like a ShopRite or a Kroger's or a Whole Foods, Stop and Shop, they've closed multiple locations in our area. And had they been communicating locally to their community, and there are different incentives to be offered. It's really service inside the store, and that experience is one thing. But if you have a value proposition to offer your community and you're not communicating with them locally, and you're not really pinpointing who your ideal customer should be, then you're going to end up with a lot of empty retail space. And it is a fact, if you drive around America, you can look at empty shopping malls, and there are communities there that could support businesses. But it's unfortunate that geofencing is underutilized. And I do believe that retail shopping malls would do better if they were to use, instead of just trying to shotgun blast everyone with a Facebook campaign or a Google campaign where you're racing against your opponent, who's your next door neighbor, they should be carving out bespoke audiences for themselves by using geofencing. So I wish people would utilize it more. This is a fundamental thing that every brick and mortar business should be operating with.
Instead of making Google and Facebook all this money because you're just bidding against yourselves, where geofencing is the open wide web. No closed gardens there.
So why isn't geofencing more adopted? Is it the lack of awareness? Is it that it requires some technical expertise that the business owners might not have?
I think so. Barbara and I talk all the time. I'm like, Barbara, we should be doing our own geofencing ads. We should be doing our own ads to tell businesses what we do. And she's, no, we have to do it in long form because people won't understand. But I disagree.
He does.
strongly
He thinks he
disagree.
could do this in 30 seconds. So
And
I'm waiting
and
to
Alex,
see this.
Alex, I'm going to prove it to you. Like they say, sell me this chapstick, Alex. I'm going to prove it to you in less than 30 seconds. What is geofencing? Geofencing is a foot traffic technology where we track smart devices, send them your ad, and then measure the visit to your store. Boom, done. Sold the chapstick.
It was in 30 seconds.
It was less than 30 seconds.
Count.
So part of the problem, Alex, is that ad agencies
Even
don't
if you
under-
said that, they wouldn't understand half the
Oh
time.
my God. People speak English. But anyway, agencies stick to what they know. And they know content, they know branding, and then they know the dashboard for Facebook, Google, and whatever. But there is a big learning curve with geofencing. So I really do believe, because it's a very technical format, that is what inhibits agencies from getting into it. And also agencies believe that geofencing is just one-dimensional. Oh, you're just smartphone advertising. No, you can
Just
use
so much more to it.
Yeah, you can use the technology to achieve more with less money because you're drawing discrete, carved out niches, and you're communicating to them more with less money. So I think, from part of it being a just non-awareness of how flexible technology is and how you can use all aspects of your creative arsenal to use it. And then it's taking the time to learn it.
Yeah, the flexibility of geofencing. You can do events. You could do a Super Bowl if you wanted. All the local businesses around an event, you can collect all that data and send them ads during the time that they're there. There's so much that you can
Weather-based
do.
ads when it rains.
Yep, weather-based ads.
A lot of agencies don't realize, and obviously customers, business owners don't realize, if you're a Fortune 100 company or you're just starting out of your garage, a business, this is something that you can use and scale it any way you really need to scale it. Barbara and I believe it's superior to all other forms of advertising simply because it democratizes advertising. You can buy access to the Amazon Prime, local Amazon Prime shoppers now. Someone buys their groceries at Whole Foods and you want to retarget them to remodel their bathroom or to winterize their boat, you can do that. I just think that it's lacking in awareness and people getting stuck in their own repertoire and not wanting to learn other processes.
Just if you're going to purchase a building for a business, you can see that foot traffic. You can see who's coming around. We can do a whole study and then target all those people for a grand opening, for a car wash and HVAC. There's so much real estate. There's so many things that you can use this for, as well as online traffic as well to a website.
So Alex, your whole podcast is based on analytics. And the great thing about geofencing is in any reporting, but particularly in ours, it's proprietary. You can see what ad delivered the most. You can see what location delivered you the most foot traffic, meaning what location you targeted gave you the most foot traffic. You can see what devices it was seen on. You can tell if it's a new or a repeat visit. So it's very data rich. And the other thing is because, unlike Facebook, who already has your personal information, because we wash your data in a clean room, we never see it, we are able to track devices all over the place. That is exactly why we like it. It's out of those walled gardens where neighbors competing against neighbor. You can have two convenience stores next to each other, for lack of a better, sexier example, but still market to completely different people in the same zip code or in the same neighborhood, because you're able to create a bespoke message, send it to people that you want most as your client, and then watch them as they walk through your door.
Have you ever set up any like A/B tests and randomly targeted some of the foot traffic visitors to see the lift?
How do you mean that? Like when you say randomly?
Let's say that you have 100 visitors in a month to a brick and mortar location. You collect all 100 IPs. You set 50 aside and you don't touch them with any marketing. And then the other 50 you treat with marketing. And you just see what's the difference in maybe their recurring purchase rate or their lifetime value or something like that. Have you done any studies to see the effectiveness or the improvement in sales from this?
We haven't done it that way. What we would consider our control group is the natural converter number. Say we have 100 people that show up at a business, and we attempt to deliver ads to all 100 people, but only 15 people received an ad, and then out of that, 7 came in. However, out of the 100, the other 85 people, I hope my math is good because I haven't had my second cup of coffee yet, but the other 85 people, out of that 85 people, 20 came in on their own. That's the control number. The control number is the people who never saw your ad but came in anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, there's a sort of a natural error. And there's only so many people that you can target that come in. So that makes sense.
But why I love this is geofencing works best with, you could draw certain inferences for people's location. So say we own a Starbucks and there's a reason why Starbucks places it near certain kinds of businesses, because they draw an inference. They're saying that based on our placement of our store, we're going to get foot traffic from that Mercedes dealership or from that Whole Foods. So there's things that you can assume strongly based on location. And why geofencing works is based on these assumptions, these look-alike similar audiences. When we send them an ad to come to your business or to get your service, then they're most likely to convert. And they do indeed convert better than other forms of advertising. We have done other forms of advertising for many years, and this is the best return we've seen on someone's investment ever, which is why we believe in touching people as many times and as through many mediums as you can, but we are maximalists in geofencing because we have seen it transform the lives of small business owners. When we first started out, we had clients in South Carolina. It was a small family business that owned 15, 20 different laundromats. And in any given month, we were sending them 1,000 new visits a month on $1,000 ad spend. This is tremendous. This is like insane. And then they started advertising in Spanish and English, and then they started rainy day ads. And then before you know it, we had just one customer getting thousands of visits on a miniature, such a small amount of budget. And that's when we became true believers. And then that's when we got heavy into the data and trying to see how much data can we actually derive based on, and that's valuable, that is, and use it. Yeah.
So we started our process of doing
foot traffic studies
and also putting the data so that the people can actually read them and see the data for themselves, and they can go into a system that we developed so that way they can actually look in at any time and see what ads are working for them, where they need to work on. Because if you're not seeing the people coming back, you know that you're not doing something right there. You really want to make sure the customer service, there's things in these reports that you can say, okay, I'm looking at my business in a different light and I'm seeing the data. What do I need to change there to make sure that the customer is coming back, or maybe help that advertising? Because when we're thinking about advertising, we're thinking about the promise we're making. So that promise needs to be kept by the business owner.
I'm curious how the geofence border is decided.
How the actual border of the fence is decided. We get a lot of businesses that are in a business within a business. So we have to look at a satellite picture of the building, and with a pen, we draw polygons along the walls of the building. And that's how we define both a conversion zone, where we're sending people, where we're trying to get them to convert to, and we're also using that same sort of methodology to draw targets up.
So when they walk into that geofence and they're open an app, maybe the weather app or King James Bible or whatever app, they actually will get an ad on that phone in that. And once they go into the establishment that the advertisement was for, the satellite pings us and tells us that we got a conversion. That's how it works.
Interesting. And are you feeding this? So who's collecting this data, and how does the data side work? Are you taking data that's sold from these satellite companies, or like how does the data side work?
The data is very timely, and there are multiple demand side platforms that collect the data.
Okay. And then you're buying data from the DSP and then like targeting based off of that. And then can you walk us through that process?
Sure. So on the technical side, if you want to do geofencing, reduced down to actually what it is, you would use a demand side platform that offers that data. And then how you use that data or how you segregate that data is up to you, the agency. We have our own algorithms that identify people, and we use demand side platforms to target those people based on that timely information, which is GPS, phone, location-based data.
And then you have
I
your
hope
own.
that wasn't a word salad. That was simply saying that you need a demand side. Even Creatopi, for example, is a demand side platform. Are you familiar with Creatopi?
No.
It's just like a Canva, but you can actually publish ads on it. If you think of Canva, but you're able to publish ads, that's, for everyone listening, that's what a demand-side platform is. We utilize demand-side platforms to have access to GPS phone data. So there are tons of companies out there that do that, but it's up to the agency to discern what data is valuable and what data is not valuable. And that's where the targeting and marketing and crafting comes in, and personas, buying personas.
Yes.
Was that more clear, I hope?
Yeah, so you're getting the data from the DSP, is that right?
Yes.
And then you process the data, you decide who you want to spend and target against, and then you feed that back into the DSP?
Yes, I'll give you a really good example that everyone could probably look up is that Amazon has its own demand side platform now. If you wanted to advertise in the Amazon universe, the Amazon Prime universe, you could. Previously, it was only available, this is probably breaking news, we're telling other agencies how to do their job, but you
Don't
could,
give everything away.
an ad buy would have to be like $100,000, right? But you can use the Amazon demand side platform to target people based on zip code. But that's all I'm willing to say because they need to get
They gotta
let
figure it
them
out.
figure it out for themselves. But yeah, there are platforms, and Amazon is one of them. And if you want to do geofencing, in that case, it would be called geo-targeting, which is zip code-based consumer targeting. You can do it. And then they have their own reporting system. So what we have developed is we're agnostic to the platform, right? We don't care what demand-side platform we use. Barbara's son Noah has designed our reporting platform so we can segregate data quickly and we're able to look at what ads are delivering it's very simple and intuitive. Our reporting platform is much more flexible. So we're able to sort data in the ways that we know we need to so we can remove money from trying to send ads to locations that are not delivering foot traffic. So we're able to quickly sort through data. And that's what distinguishes us from other kinds of agencies is because we don't rely on any one demand side platform. We're relying on our own methodologies and our own algorithms when it comes to both targeting and reporting.
Well said.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the geofencing industry or your own business that you'd like to share with the listeners?
From an industry standpoint, it's only growing. I forget her name, but the former vice president at Chipotle, she really proved that geofencing works for big businesses. And I love that. Burger King used it to conquest customers from McDonald's. That was great. We've pioneered advertising in the laundromat industry. I think we're very proud of that. We're bringing it now to other businesses like HVAC and private aviation, all different things. And we're very happy to do that. We've worked with mezcal brands and alcohol brands, and that was fun.
Oh, that was great. We did a whole campaign to promote
A tasting. Yeah, it was successful. It was very successful. So it's only a growing segment of advertising. But why it's wonderful is because you can wisely spend your clients' money and show them people walking through the door. So in a post-COVID world where a third of small businesses were destroyed by Orwellian beliefs and practices, the biggest revenge is success.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's only a growing field, geofencing. We respect people's privacy, so there's no privacy concerns there. And yeah, as an agency, we're here. People need us. We're easy to find.
And when we manage your account, we give exclusivity. Your competition can't hire us in that 3-mile radius.
Oh, nice. That's a great differentiator.
It was really in the beginning when we started this, Ernesto and I just sat down and listed the moral values that we want for our company and grow it the way we want to, because we both worked in the medical industry. And we always had handcuffs sometimes on what we really wanted to do and help. So this was a way of jailbreaking that in a different way for small businesses and help them grow.
Previously, geofencing was not available to small businesses. It really has been our focus to be able to use this at scale. So whether you're a very small startup or a big, ginormous company, these are tools that should be made available to people.
Franchises, everything.
Thank you, Barbara and Ernesto. This has been a great episode, and I appreciate you both coming today.
Thanks, Alex. We also have enjoyed your previous podcast. We just listened to one on AI, so you're running a great show, and we're happy to be guests for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I hope we can have a follow-up in the next few months.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll talk to you soon.